up, motherfuckers? This is Peter, and this is
T.O. Poke.
Yeah, man. We just actually did a ride along Peter Talks Wrestling with on our way to Charlotte. So
Or Concord. To be specific.
Concord, Savina Arena. Look at all these marks. Well, anyway, we got here, and I just wanted to let you know. Thank you for listening. You're gonna enjoy it. It's like an hour minute long, and you get to know who this jabroni is, and tell them where they can find you again.
You can find me at T.O. Poke on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere else except Pornhub.
Like, subscribe, thumbs up, share with your friends. We'll see you after the show. Peace.
Continue on I-85 South.
Oh, this shit recording now. All right, folks. You're in for a special treat for a podcast.
I-85 South for 56 miles.
Are you going to keep that on?
You can turn it off now.
What, that thing?
Yeah,
how do you turn it off?
Just hit the power button. Hold on, you can pass it over. I got it.
All right, start this over. All right, folks, you're in for a special Peter Talks Wrestling with. It's one en route to Charlotte to go watch NXT Charlotte with the homie Terence, better known as T.O. Poke on the old Twitter's account. How you doing, big man?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Man, I've known this guy for almost 2 years, right? A little over 2 years.
A little more than that.
I've been doing the podcast for like a year and a half. And I'm thinking, have I got you on a podcast before?
No, this is the first time.
It's the first time I got this guy on a podcast, because I thought when I started doing this, even Peter and Jake, I thought the first guest ever would be this guy right here. But he's made excuse after excuse after excuse after goddamn excuse to not come over to the crib or to hit up a brother on the Skype to do a podcast. And I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I'm gonna go, why will this be your first ever appearance on anything PJTW Central related?
In my own defense, when you started the podcast was just about the time I kind of fell out of wrestling. And even now, it's kind of iffy. The timing right now works out. We just got done Wrestlemania. There's an NXT event not even a week later. So I know what's going on. Now, if you talk to me in 2 weeks, when I think Raw is coming to the Coliseum,
I saw that.
I'm probably not going to have any clue what's going on.
Why did you fall out?
I think it was the post-WrestleMania buzz. I went to WrestleMania 30, had a great time.
New Orleans, right?
Yeah, oh God, New Orleans was still probably the best weekend. The second best weekend of my life. Got to put the wedding up top. But we get back, and I didn't enjoy the Daniel Bryan Kane feud, and they were just starting to ramp up on the Roman stuff, and the network wasn't what I wanted to be, and I was just not feeling WWE at the time. I had a little bit of Ring of Honor in my life, but not enough to really say I was a full-blown fan, and I just kind of stopped. Also, on top of that, I got rid of cable, so trying to watch Raw or SmackDown without Hulu at the time wasn't an easy proposition.
So, are you watching anything now? I mean, like, would you say you're watching ROH?
Yeah.
Are you watching TNA?
No. I have not watched TNA in maybe 5 years.
Okay.
It's been a while.
I
don't feel like I'm missing anything.
But you do follow NXT.
I do follow NXT.
You do have the network.
I do have the network.
You do have the network. And you watch all the old stuff?
Right now, not too much of the old stuff, just because of time constraints. I always catch the pay-per-views. I think the only pay-per-view I missed, and I didn't realize I missed it until I was trying to get caught up on NXT. I didn't catch the London Takeover, and I still haven't watched all of it. I watched maybe half. And I didn't watch...
It wasn't that great.
Okay, well, maybe I won't watch it. And I didn't watch TLC. But I've seen Rumble, I saw Fastlane, saw WrestleMania, saw the Raw before WrestleMania, so I know what's happening there. I saw Takeover.
Did you see Roadblock?
Yeah, I did see Roadblock.
Okay.
I was hoping for that to be cooler than it was. It wasn't bad. A lot of people on the internet got mad because they thought it was going to be a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
When it was probably closer to that Beast in the East special they did.
Well,
it was a nice house show.
Or even the Beast in the East, or even the
Elimination Chamber.
Oh no! I'm thinking Madison Square Garden show. I mean, those are bona fide house shows. And the thing is, and I think it's the fault of the writing to play up the fact that that show itself, because they didn't do that with Beast in the East. The only match in Beast in the East that they actually promoted that was actually going to make some big change was the Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens match.
Correct.
That was it. Everything else was just kind of whatever.
Yeah, and I think part of that was the time, because that started at 4 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh yeah,
And so
I saw that shit the next day.
I was up live.
Yeah,
that was a hard sell.
yeah. I think because I DJ'd that night and I come back hella fucking drunk, so I was like, I don't have the patience. So, and plus I wanted to do like my own little review afterwards. So yeah, this is like our own little ride along. This is like the Peter's ride along with fucking Terence Pulp.
It's already better than the ride along on the network.
So you've seen that show?
It came on last week after Takeover, I think it was.
See, after I finished those shows, man, I don't feel like watching nothing related.
Well, I think it's one of those deals where the TV was just on, so I just kind of let it go.
Who was in it?
It was
because Table for Three is dope.
Table for Three is dope depending on who's there. This one was Roman and Dean and Paige and Alicia. Roman and Dean were okay. I mean, they weren't nothing captivating. But Paige and Alicia was terrible TV.
Really? So why do you think? Why do you think? What makes Ride Along worse? Because it seems like the same thing. Table 3, Ride Along. You think it's the fact that they're in a car or something? What the fuck?
I think it seems a little more forced. They're like we're gonna have you be in this car. We want you to do something zany or cool. Whereas Table for Three, a lot of those Table for Threes have preset topics already. And they say, tell us about WCWs or tell us some road stories, and they can kind of play off of each other a little bit. And it does help that there's 3 people, so you have 2 people and one person to kind of jump in, and they can kind of take turns doing that. Whereas when there's only 2 people, if one person sucks, there's not a lot of good conversation happening back and forth.
And you know why they did that shit, right? They only did it because it's like when you listen to, say, Colt Cabana, or you listen to Stone Cold, or you listen to Jericho, and they talk to other wrestlers, like PW Torch, and they start talking about like things that happened on the road, like conversations or ribs or anything like that. I mean, it sounds awesome because, like, wow, man, it'd be great to be sitting in a car with Stone Cold and Dutch Mantell and fucking Ray Trailer and some shit, like shooting the shit, coming up with ideas. And I'm thinking, why didn't they just go that route? Like, because here's the thing, they don't drive like they used to anymore. They just take a bus or like they fly in and stuff like that. So that whole culture is kind of gone. And then it's like, well, they tried to simulate it to where it's like, well, no, this is. If I see Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose in the car, I want to hear them talking about their upcoming matches, the ideas they have, ideas they had before, or, just brainstorming. Because that's the thing. When you hear these stories, they're like always brainstorming.
Well, I think with Ride Along, with this one, they were leaving somewhere in the Bay Area, going to a show somewhere in Portland. It wasn't very far. It was maybe an hour and a half ride. And in that time, you can't have with so much captivating conversation.
Yeah.
Especially when the first 15, 20 minutes of their trip is just them trying to get away from the fans and the people who are following them and people wanting autographs. Not surprisingly, Paige and Alicia did not have the same issues when they were leaving the arena. But, I mean, it wasn't captivating. I think a better example of the ride-along idea is, what was the name of the NXT show where they were, like, following them?
Breaking Ground.
I
love that show.
Those ride-along segments were good.
They were great.
I mean, because they were longer road trips. A lot of those guys, they were either acquaintances or very new friends. So there was actually some learning of each other. I think there was a moment where Mojo, and I forget which girl it was.
It was the fitness chick. She hangs out with Emma.
Yeah.
What the hell is it? Dana Brooke.
Yeah, Dana Brooke. Yeah. And Mojo was trying to toss around ideas for his team with Ryder, and they're going back and forth. People were talking about how difficult it was because Ryder's on the main roster and they only see each other every 2-3 months. That was interesting.
That was awesome. And then he was
cool.
Then he was getting numbers and shit, which is even funny. But how about this, Pope? Because we need to know more about you before we actually talk about how you felt about last week's WWE weekend, basically.
All right.
So, who's your favorite wrestler?
All time?
Well, you could give me 5 guys that you've definitely followed over, as long as you've been a wrestling fan.
All right. As long as I've been a wrestling fan, got to start with Shawn Michaels. All-time favorite, number one guy. Jericho's probably a close number 2. It makes me feel old to see Jericho wrestling now. Because I remember following Jericho when I was in 9th, 10th grade when he was in WCW doing his thing. And now he is very much a senior member of the WWE roster.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, you've been doing this, not even counting his time in Japan and Mexico, but just from WCW to now, you've been doing this 20 years.
Amazing, ain't it?
I mean, the countdown to the millennium is almost 20 years old.
Do you remember where you were when that happened?
The first promo, I was in Minneapolis, and I was like, what is this? What is this going to be? But when it actually happened, I was at my parents' house because I was in high school, and it happened. I was watching Raw like I do every week, and I was not surprised that the countdown didn't match exactly where it was supposed to be. But that moment was crazy. That pop he got.
Oh yeah.
I still have not heard a pop anything close to that.
When the music dropped and we got and then it's like you saw and then you saw Jericho.
And people go nuts.
Ape shit.
Crazy.
That pop. I haven't heard. I think the closest pop since then. I think closest, not as good, but the closest pop I've heard since then was when Dolph Ziggler cashed in.
Oh,
that was 3 years ago.
29.
Yeah. Like, that's the closest I've ever heard because that place went nuts.
Crowd was ready.
But yeah, man, I was in a dorm room. I was at Mount Olive College. I had one of those TV VCR joints in my room. That fucker, man, it took me forever to get rid of that thing. But I was a WCW guy. I was kind of following Raw, and I knew that the countdown was coming. So I specifically watched that show just to make sure it was Jericho. And sure enough, it was. And I was just like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. But all right, so Shawn Michaels, Jericho.
Shawn and Jericho, number 3, Razor Ramon, the bad guy, Scott Hall, whatever you want to call him.
Well, no. Scott Hall or Razor Ramon. You can't pick.
I think you can split the two of them up together. So okay, if you go to like NWA Scott Hall, he's very different from Razor Ramon and the Scott Hall that came after.
Yes.
Very much so. That's the Razor I'm talking about. That Scott Hall. Everything from 93 forward. That guy. I didn't really care for Scott Hall. I barely knew who he was before he came to WWF.
Well, I thought he was so intriguing. I found him more. I mean, the bad guy is awesome. Again, I was a WCW guy, but it was he was intriguing. Both. I've never been a fan of Diesel. I
didn't care for Diesel.
And even
I didn't like him as Sean's bodyguard. Yeah. I didn't like Diesel as Big Sexy. I never cared.
Kevin Nash. He felt like he was trying too hard to be cool in WCW, but for some reason, Razor Ramon or Scott Hall at that time, it wasn't forced, it wasn't contrived. He was just cool to be cool because he's cool. But man, the Scott Hall character intrigued me way more than Razor Ramon.
Really?
Razor Ramon was just a really awesome character, but I think I don't know. I think it's the WCW in me that appreciates Scott Hall.
I always felt like the Scott Hall character in WCW never really got to be a character. Because he showed up basically pretending to be Razor. Mm-hmm. And then after they got past that whole deal and the Outsiders and NWO formed, he never really got a chance to do or say much other than, taking the survey, talking the occasional smack. But there wasn't a lot of character growth or development or change.
No. But at the same time, what WCW wasn't something that was a lot of growth, development, growth, and change. Yeah. I mean, you didn't watch that shit for that kind of stuff. You watch to see that your guy go in, either win or lose.
Basically. In WCW, you show up on Worldwide with a gimmick. And if that gimmick works, you're going to keep going from Worldwide to Pro to Saturday Night to Thunder to Nitro.
Oh, yeah.
There's no growth, there's no change.
Nothing.
Whereas in WWF, even if you get a gimmick that works, it molds, it changes, and like Triple H from '95.
Yeah, man, I was about to say that.
Triple H now,
dude,
that character has changed so much.
That wrestling isn't wrestling thing, really, and for anyone who hadn't seen that yet, yeah, like that opened your eyes to how a character actually develops. You can't say that about Dean Malenko and what they do with WCW or what they did with you know what I'm saying? You know, it's funny. Ric Flair had more character development in WCW. It was something that was something they held true. Like you saw a guy, he grew, he rose the mountain, he failed. You know, he came back. You know, he different matches, different valets, different fucking obstacles. It's just how they did it. At WCW, again, I guess as I'm older now, I appreciate the character development and stuff. But as a kid, I give a fuck about no character development.
You're just trying to see your favorite guy.
Fucking Great Muta. Yeah. What that just scared the shit out of me. That's all. I want to see Sting hit the Stinger Splash and put you in the Stinger Scorpion Deathlock. That's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see fucking Dustin Rhodes fucking just kick the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to see. I want to see Booker T and Hall of Heat. Yep. That's all I wanted to see. They come in, kick someone's ass like the Steiner brothers. Go in, kick someone's ass, and call it a day. And your last.
No, I got two more.
You got two more.
All right, here's my controversial pick. Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit? What's so controversial about that?
You know how people are. You can't say his name. We're just going to erase him from history. I get that. He did a very terrible, terrible thing.
CTI, man.
Yeah, true.
That shit, I mean, you can't don't get a pass.
You can't pretend like, all the concussion didn't take their toll on him. But he still did a very terrible thing. I'm not going to knock that against him.
But his
body of work in the ring, phenomenal. His stuff in Japan, his stuff in WCW, stuff in WWF, or WWE, I think at the time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And part of that is a little bit of nostalgia. My first job, I was working nights, and my first real big boy job, I was working nights, and I'd get home 2-3 in the morning. I had all these tapes and stuff from Japan of all these old Benoit matches, and I had some stuff from WCW. And I would sit there and drink a couple tall boys and watch 2 matches a day. And it was so good. Like, there are some of his theme songs, I hear them and it puts me right back on this old dirty ass love seat. Watching these old Benoit matches at 3 in the morning. So I'm a big Benoit fan. Well, in ring work, of course. And probably number 5, Booker T.
Booker T! I think probably if I have to go down the list of greatest theme songs.
Oh, yes.
That fucking no. Listen, Ice Cold.
Oh, it's Ice Cold?
Yeah, Ice Cold. Hall of Heat.
I would said yes and no.
No.
Okay.
I see. Dead people. No, man. I just from time to time, I'll just be chilling. I don't know, fucking vacuuming my and that theme song would just pop right into my head. It was so good that it actually made WWF.
Yeah, one of the few that carried over.
I don't.
Goldberg's carried over in a modified version.
Okay.
Slightly modified. Did Kidman's carry over?
Who?
Kidman. Remember, Kidman was the cruiserweight. Well, he wasn't the cruiserweight champ because Shane Helms was the cruiserweight champ, and they got rid of the vertebreaker and that Sugar Shane Helms gimmick with the quickness. But I think Kidman's theme did come over too.
Yeah, okay, because
Kidman was still wrestling.
I remember in the I was watching some of that show, the WCW version, the Monday Night Wars, and the day they bought, and he was sitting there I had just won the championship, and I was thinking I was completely out of a job. He still works for them. He works behind the scenes.
Oh, Kidman?
Yeah. Okay.
He's like a road agent, like Malenko and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah. So, what wrestler is one of those wrestlers that you like, but you don't know why you like? Like one of those old school wrestlers that you're like, man, that guy was awesome. Like Alex Wright or something. You know what I'm saying? You remember Alex Wright, the Wonder Kid?
Oh, okay.
Like those guys.
Easy one. Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad?
Not Marvelous Mark Merrill or anything that came out. Johnny B. Bad. I love that gimmick. I don't even really remember any of his matches. But he was one of the... I used to watch WCW Saturday Night like it was a religion.
Yeah.
Love Johnny B. Bad.
It came out twice.
And I got excited when he came to WWF. I'm like, oh, cool. He's in something I want to watch. And it just didn't do it for me. The Wild Man and Sable, and then when he was punching people as a boxer.
Well, that's because he fucked up his body.
Yeah,
he couldn't do the same shit he did.
That wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Love Johnny Bad.
PN News, man.
Wow.
Wow.
Digging in the vault there.
He
wasn't good.
He was horrible. But the gimmick was so great as a kid. And we're talking like, I'm like 11, 12 years old, and hip-hop was just coming onto the scene, and it hadn't really defined itself. Yeah, it was kind of gaudy, but at the same time, it was cool because he was the first, right?
He definitely was the first.
And then we're giving him music videos and stuff. He was a big dude, you know, like the Fat Boys, and he had his crew, you know. It's like, and it was shooting music videos.
I would not have guessed you were a PN News.
Oh, PN News was awesome, man. PN News was awesome. All right, so let's get to the gut, right?
All right.
We don't have
the meat and potatoes.
All right, so let's start with NXT Takeover, right?
All right.
1 to 10, what do you give it?
7.
A 7. Okay, what takes off 3 points? Yeah, we start from the bad, we work our way to the good. What did you not like about it?
The Baron Corbin Austin Aries match. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. And I think it was Austin Aries' fault. I don't put any of that on him. I think Baron did what he does.
Yep.
And it just didn't work for me. Also, the main event.
Do you like Austin Aries?
No. That's probably one thing we should point out. I've never been a big Austin Aries fan.
Well, that surprises me because his body type. And first thing that came to mind when I saw him, because I don't watch TNA, this is as much exposure I've ever had of him ever.
But he has TNA forever.
Yeah, he has a body type like Chris Benoit.
He does.
It's almost identical.
He does.
It's almost like he dug him up, took his head off, and put his head on.
I think I just never liked his character. It's just a little too cocky for my taste. And it's okay when you're cocky and you're like Tyler Breeze or Shawn Michaels. You're like the pretty boy cocky. But Austin was like the I'm better than you cocky, but he never really did anything to warrant that.
Well,
and it wasn't like Jericho with like that whiny deal.
But here's the thing about Austin Aries and the gimmick that I pick up so far is that, like, you say that. You say, I'm the greatest man alive. He's not tall. He's not that good looking. There's nothing nothing that stands out about him. You know, so when you step in and you look at a guy like Roman Reigns, if he plays cocky, I'm like, well, fuck this asshole. Pretty motherfucker.
Which is what they probably should do. His wife is really
pretty
well. They
pretty
are a very attractive couple.
Yeah.
Might be jumping to the Hall of Fame, but I saw them on the Hall of Fame on Saturday. I was like, they're hot.
Yeah.
Put them on TV together.
But yeah, Austin Aries, he doesn't have those attributes.
No.
So, all right. So, carry on.
Okay. So that loses some points. The main event seemed a little disjointed as well. I think a lot of that was because Joe got busted open. And they were trying to tend to him, and they just never really hit a flow or any type of rhythm. And as much as I love Bayley and as much as I love Asuka, the match was fine. It wasn't on the same level as Sasha and Becky, or Bayley and Sasha. It was a good match, but it wasn't great.
It was too many moves done over and over again.
Yeah.
It was almost like they lacked creativity. Everyone wants to talk about how great a wrestler Finn Balor is. I don't think he's a great wrestler at all. I think he's good. I think he's a high spot guy that's having to now tell stories in the ring, and he hasn't quite adjusted to it. The only reason why he's in the spot he is right now is because people are hurt. And his gimmick is awesome.
Yeah. The entrances are always fun.
Hey, you peel that orange, man. Ain't no telling what the hell is going to be going on inside. And I think this match itself, he exposed himself. Mm-hmm. I was like, how many times are you going to do that same fucking move? And Joe, again, you go, I can't blame Joe. He busted his shit open. The only thing I didn't like about it is that, like, it was kind of like a fluke sloppy finish, right?
The
sliced bread. It was a sloppy, and Joe just left.
Yeah.
He just kind of got
like, all right, I'm done.
All right, whatever, peace. And I go, why didn't he just like haul up and beat the living crap out of him?
Yeah, I didn't. A lot of people on the net were very high on the main event and very high on the show overall. Partly because they mark for NXT by default. And I was like, that show was good. What's up, Jake? That show was good, but it wasn't Brooklyn.
But you know what thing stood out about that show, though? It was probably the most intense one I've seen ever. Like, every match that showcased was, like, intense.
Yeah. The Revival American
Alpha
match Whew.
Timing.
They brought it.
It's all about timing.
Yeah, they brought
and
it.
that pop, that Alpha got when that music hit,
Oh, I love them dudes.
that pop was dope. I feel like they're going Brokeback Mountain on him though, man.
I hope not. That'll get awkward fast.
Keep an eye on that, please. Keep an eye on
But
it.
when they get to the main roster, no telling what they're going to do with it. There are some people I almost want them to just stay in NXT.
Oh, well, you know what? Why not? I was talking about that on a fucking podcast before. It's like, yo, I think NXT it could be an opportunity for people to be kind of lifers.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be its own thing. You know, you look at that crowd.
NXT could be WCW.
No, I won't call it WCW.
No, not WCW as in like the bad management and whatnot, but just
No.
an alternative.
I think it has the right to. I think it has the potential just to be NXT. If promotions like bigger promotions come up, they're gonna try to match NXT. I think you know what I'm saying.
I think ROH is already trying to do so, because once NXT got into Full Sail and started doing the side aprons with the screens and the extra entrance ramps and whatnot, ROH stepped up their game and said, "We need a new entryway, we need new graphics."
Well, how about
little things?
Well, how about this? The WWE is so unattainable. You know, you got your little, you talk about New Japan, you talk about ROH, you know, and those guys do all right, TNA. They do all right, but the WWE is in a whole other galaxy in terms of attainability, right? So let's just say you take something that's up there, right? NXT. Okay, it's not Raw, it's not SmackDown, it's NXT. It's attainable. Like I can see the direction that we can actually go in now without having to kick out a whole bunch of cash. They're the ones creating the taste for what the underground or independents should look like. Because before, I can't afford the Titron, I can't afford no pyro, I can't afford all this. What the fuck? NXT is a stripped down version, and it's like basically NXT is nothing more but them house shows. It's the house show presentation of, say, what the WWE main roster is.
Yeah, I agree. And I would almost say the house show presentation from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because house shows now are surprisingly high tech, surprisingly like very well produced.
Yeah. The last one that came to town, like came to Greensboro, that was actually really dope. Had a steel cage and everything.
Yeah. I was like, what is this?
So, what I loved about that match was the timing, especially that part when Duke goes under the ring, and it was just enough time. Oh man, that timing I could watch them wrestle forever, and I never liked the Revival or Dash.
You like the Revival?
I don't like Dash.
Man, I like those guys.
Ham and Eggers.
No man.
Ham and Eggers.
Those two dudes can work.
You hungry?
They just seem like two badasses. They like.
Are you hungry?
Oh man.
And plus, why the fuck did they rush to the ring for?
Now, I do wish they took their time just being badasses walking down to the ring. They
were fucking
do hustle a little too much.
My lord, they were hustling and bustling. But anything else?
Good or bad, or just
No, what any more negatives that you thought?
No, just earlier. I thought the American Alpha Revival was great. The Zayn Nakamura match was wonderful. Bailey Asuka, like I said, I had some issues with it, but it was still perfectly
I
fine.
had issues with that finish.
I
saw John Cena for the Asuka Bailey match.
Refresh me on that one.
Okay, Asuka lock didn't let it go,
Yeah.
and she passes out.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, look at John Cena. He doesn't give up. He doesn't get pinned.
Well,
She got caught in the bad one."
I saw that. I didn't look at that in a negative light, because with WrestleMania coming up, you had to look at Takeover to be like, okay, who's gonna get called up? Who's gonna get the next step? And I said Bailey will probably drop the towel to Asuka, but she doesn't go out in a pinfall. She needs some way to where there's a reason for her to come back in 2 months or whatever for the next Takeover, because the women's division on the main roster is full. There's nowhere for Bailey to fit.
Oh no, it's not full.
No, it's full.
I don't think it's full.
You had 3 women in the triple threat. You had 10 other girls in the other match.
Oh,
that's 13 people already.
They're slicing that. What they're doing now is like they got a two-part divas. They got two-part divas like division, a women's division. Women's division. You have the diva division. You have the women's division now. I think that's basically what's happening.
But even if you look at the women's division, you got Bailey, Sasha, Becky. You toss Natty, Emma Page in there. That's 6 people.
But you're not tossing Page in there right now. Right now you're not.
But there were teases of her And Sasha feuded.
But you know what that's all about, though, right? Fucking Paige is on trial for prostitution.
What?
Yes. So she got caught, and now she's on trial, and the WWE is just playing it low. Mm-hmm. They can't put her in any high spots or nothing. So she's like, she's in this purgatory until it's all said and done. Look it up. No. I think a lot of people don't know about it, and for good reason. The WWE did a great job by playing her low. No one's questioning why she's been sort of not taken down a notch, and the fact that you got Sasha Banks out there and Flair and Becky Lynch out there, that's enough to pacify
most people.
Yeah, if not the majority of them.
I just feel like the last year and a half, she got kind of lazy in the ring. She wasn't as tight. Well, I've never been a huge Paige fan to begin with, but I always respected her work.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like the last year and a half, she's been kind of lazy a little bit.
Well, she's becoming more like, it's more marketing. This is my house.
Yeah.
And then like the same moves. You know, she got complacent. Mm-hmm. And I think, but here's the thing about the women or the Divas division. I think it was as a division centered around complacency. I mean, these women, they come up, they work their ass off in the indies or what have you, and all they want to do is go somewhere and look pretty and get paid. Now all of a sudden you got these fucking chicks coming in, wanted to work. You fucking it up for all of us.
Everybody else was chilling. I'm sure Alicia Fox, I love her, she's fun.
And she's a great wrestler.
Yeah, but she was just chilling. Last she's been on the roster like 5 years now?
7.
Oh God. And yeah, what is she was the first African American Divas champ. But outside of that, which didn't mean a whole lot, what has she done? I remember her jumping on
she made JoJo retire. She made JoJo retire.
Yeah.
And that fucking, I think it was Extreme Rules. Well, anyway, it was like some sort of 3-on-3 division, 3-on-3 thing, and poor JoJo was in the ring, and she was in there with Alicia Fox. You know how Alicia Fox does that, like, she does that sort of running knee, like drop you on the knee. She did that, and then she shove you into the mat. She did that to poor JoJo. I ain't seen her since in the ring. I swear to God, I get did Alicia Fox knee and drive you to the mat. Did that end your wrestling career? And I guarantee you, 99.9% she's gonna say, yep, that shit hurt.
JoJo's a little short, little backstage announcer.
Yeah, she's dating Aiden English from the Vaudevillains.
Yeah. From the isn't the other Vaudevillain dating a Guerrero?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think.
Gosh.
Yeah. Huh. Anyway, that was an aside. Just a thought.
Just a thought. But yeah, Nakamura, man. What do you think? What do you see? What's going on, man?
Going on as in?
What's going on, man? Like, how do you see him moving forward? Because you saw the match.
I did. So, and this is
and the new name. What do they call it? The new Bumaye?
Kumaye. So it will probably get renamed again. I try not to get too hyped for imported talent, be they from Mexico or Japan or anywhere else, because most of the time there's a lot of hype, but for one reason or another, they never get over like either the fans want them to be or their previous followers want them to be. With the one exception to that may be ADR. ADR came over, they strapped into a rocket and said, you're going to be champ. It's going to work. And it really didn't.
Sheamus too.
Yeah, but Sheamus falls in that same boat. But I don't think he was as high of a, like, people knew Sheamus, but he didn't have this huge following.
Yeah.
Whereas, ADR, Nakamura, Tommy even for that matter, you're expecting big things, and it just never
to be continued with a Tommy.
Yeah,
it just sucks that
he got an injury.
And it sucks that he didn't get the same fanfare, or even Finn Balor did the same fanfare as Nakamura. They keep their name, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. They keep their names. They basically kept their identities. And then they had to come over and change their shit up. Mm-hmm. And I go like, man, I bet Tommy like. I wouldn't be mad. And Atami, I guess we used to saying Atami, but if he came back and was like, okay, I'm back to Kenta, yo, what's good?
Yeah. I don't think that would resonate with the WWE audience, though. I think it would be the same marks who cheer for NXT and cheer for him now, but he wouldn't have the character to get over. And that's probably the one thing Nakamura does have. He has natural charisma, but it'll be interesting to see how that actually works to him getting over talking to the crowd, feeding off the crowd, if he's able to do that.
Well, if he's punching and kicking and knocking motherfuckers around, people love that shit. I mean, he's walking in, this King of Strong style shit. Like, he's gonna come in. He's unlike his predecessors, Japanese people who, they got that same strong style, but like they had to water it down so much to where they almost seem kind of cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
This guy coming in as a legit badass. He's coming in like, okay, this is like the Japanese version of Brock Lesnar. You want to get into and Asuka the same way.
Yeah.
You get in the ring with this motherfucker, you may as well, you're gonna wish you were in the ring with Mark Henry. You know what I'm saying?
The thing Nakamura probably has going for him, the current crop of the next level of main eventers, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, they'll work with him. They can work that style and it'll be fun. If Nakamura had debuted 5 years ago and you ask him to go against Randy Orton, he's dead in the water.
Dead.
So he's got a shot. We'll see how they do. But hopefully he's there tonight.
But you know how it goes with the wrestlers, man. They want to attach themselves to what's hot almost right off the bat. John Cena, Kevin Owens.
Cena's smart, man.
Kevin Owens. That fucking and you know what? It was so, I guess it was kind of clouded, what's the word I want to use, but like that's what the US Open Challenge was.
Yeah.
It's like I want to get the heat of all these new guys.
He's fighting Owens, he's fighting Ambrose.
He's fighting Neville, he's fighting Zayn.
Yeah, he was down.
Cesaro.
I respected John Cena during that little run. I mean, he was helping himself out, but
he was helping himself.
It gave some shine to the new guys as well.
So the title change. Where do you see Asuka moving forward?
I don't know, but that women's division in NXT, once Bayley leaves, who's next?
Well, they got her sister down there. They got a little chocolate sister down there. What's her name?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know her name.
She looks like she's gonna be promising. Right now, that chick that Asuka's been kicking her ass, Asperosa, whatever the fuck, she's been getting rid because she's been doing like other shit. Like she's been punched. She's in doghouse right now. I think they have something for her, but she just has to get her ass kicked a couple of times because she's bouncing around TNA and doing things which she shouldn't be doing if she's trying to take this linear path to work with the WWE. WWE see her as talent, but then rather than let her go, she has a look. I think they got to see money in her, but they're gonna make her pay for it.
Make her work for it.
Yeah,
gotta pay your dues.
Gotta pay your dues. Even more so because those two beatdowns she got by Asuka, I was like, no way, this is a rib more than I've ever seen. And you got Peyton Royce.
I like Peyton Royce.
And you got the other Australian chick. They got a couple of girls down there, man.
Got a couple of girls, but they are like, if you're ranking people 1 to 10 as far as being ready, Bayley's ready, she's a 10. Asuka's obviously a 10 or 9 because she's the champ. And after that, it's probably like Carmella.
See, I'm not feeling Carmella.
I don't like Carmella.
I hate her.
I'm not a big fan. I don't like Enzo and Cass either.
Oh, I love Enzo.
But that's another story. But as far as women's division, there's a big gap between Bayley and Asuka, and then Carmella, and then everybody else. Which is why when Bayley lost, I was like, she's not getting called up because there's nobody for Asuka to feud with.
Yeah.
There was almost that problem when Sasha left. Because, okay, Bayley's a champ. Who does she feud with? And Asuka came in and you could work with that. But those Nia Jax Bayley matches and Bayley Eva Marie, those aren't good champion type builder matches.
It's funny because it's like these 4 outliers of women that all came at once. Like it'd have been nice that 1 year Sasha shows up, the next year fucking Flair shows up, the next year Lynch shows up, and then Bayley shows up, but they all showed up at the same time.
And if it wasn't for the fact Bayley got hurt, they all probably would have left at the same time.
Yeah.
Bayley's injury set her back probably 6-8 months.
And for the best too. For the best.
It was a good thing for everybody.
I'm telling you this, Bayley is going to be the biggest thing the WWE's ever seen.
For women's wrestling, yes.
But no, I think she's going to be one of the biggest stars. She's going to be the biggest star. I think she has the potential to be the biggest star.
See, I think she'll move merch, but she's got a couple of things going against her. A, she's a woman. And there's none against women. I love women. I love women wrestlers, but they're not going to push her the same way they would John Cena.
They're gonna push her.
She's not gonna get the same push that Roman's getting.
She's gonna get it, dude.
No.
She's gonna get it.
And then in part of the reason she won't get that push.
She kind of even looks like John Cena in the face.
That's the problem. That's part of the reason she won't get that push. She's not.
You're conventional. She ain't Kelly Kelly.
Exactly. She's not conventionally attractive, and that's going to be a detriment to her bigger career.
But wait a minute. But just like what's happening with the dudes aren't like. They're not like Ultimate Warriors. They're not Hulk Hogan's.
No.
They're not Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramones.
True. But even going back to Hogan and Warrior, there was a big push to get WWE to say, hey, stop pushing these guys and push your Bret Harts, push your Shawn Michaels.
Yes. You're every man. Now you got your Kevin Owens. You got your Dean Ambrose with the fucking comb overs, right? Mm-hmm. Now you got fucking Baron Corbin. He got the look.
Baron. But he like an 80s WWF wrestler.
But that receding hairline and that fucking baby face is weird. I said on the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, he looks like a Dick Tracy character or some shit, like a Dick Tracy villain.
Baron's gonna be a great foil for probably the next few main eventers. If they're gonna keep him on the main roster, and if Baron stays there a couple years, he will be a nice foil for Roman, a nice foil for Dean. Somebody who wasn't in the Shield and you have a natural animosity or connection to.
Yeah.
I think I like Baron. I'm glad he got called up. I was surprised he won the Battle Royal.
That caught me off guard too. And speaking of which, transition. Let's go quickly through Wrestlemania.
All right.
What did you think about Wrestlemania 1 to 10?
6.
What stood out to you? Because
there was too much of it. That's what stands out to me.
Okay.
The show was way too damn long.
How about this? How about you rant about your WrestleMania, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up and listen.
All right, I enjoyed WrestleMania. I know a lot of folks there thought it was terrible, but I think WrestleMania.
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was a fun show, and that's what it's all about. But a lot of people in the net, you remember the event by the last match, and the way the last match went, Roman and Triple H, everybody knew Roman was going to win. That was pretty much a given. You were kind of wondering how it was going to happen, and for better, but most likely worse, it was the straightest line from A to B. Minus a small moment where Stephanie got involved, there was no curveballs, nothing screwy, and it was just dull. And
those two guys don't. I mean, they were two. They don't complement each other. Like, there's no challenge for Triple H out of Roman Reigns, and it just came off boring, came off stale.
Yeah. Well, I love Trips. I think he's a good guy. He's putting his dues. He knows the business back and forth. But most of his WrestleMania main events aren't good. Like when he wrestled Randy Orton at 25, do you remember anything about that match?
No.
The WrestleMania 2000, now to his defense, that was a 4-man match. It wasn't great. When he fought Orton and Cena at 24, nothing memorable. He fought Booker T, nothing to talk to him about.
Other than the fact that he won being a racist.
Yeah. Outside of the Benoit Shawn Michaels match at, what was that, 30? No, 20. At 20, and D-Bry, that technically wasn't the main event. It was the first match on the card. But when he fought Bryan, Triple H doesn't have a really good WrestleMania record. He has fucking awesome entrances, but the matches just aren't that good. And that's kind of what the match with Roman was. It was, paint by numbers, let's do this, and here's my knee spot, and we'll go outside, and we'll fight with the stairs, and it was what it was. It was a Triple H match. And with Roman not being Daniel Bryan or Chris Benoit, you weren't going to get a great match to begin with.
Yep.
So it was just dull. And honestly, I enjoyed the whole show up until the Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell wasn't compelling, and it ran too long, and it kind of sucked the air out of the crowd, even with Shane hitting his big spot. And the crowd actually seemed back into the show after the battle, during the Battle Royal. Shaq shows up. DDP is there.
DDP!
That was fun.
DDP was awesome. I did not expect DDP.
And the crowd was hype. Baron gets a nice win. I thought they had rolled from that right into the main event. The main event probably would have been better well received. But then The Rock comes out there, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I don't know what the hell that was even all about.
That was a waste of time. I would have much rather have had the Kalisto Ryback match from the pre-show be on the main card instead of that whole segment with The Rock. Making
the fucking Wyatts like a bunch of jabronis.
I'm done with the Wyatts. I don't even care anymore.
The baby faces though.
Yeah, whatever. They're gonna keep losing matches. The last time Bray won a match that mattered that wasn't against Dean Ambrose.
Oh man, I was about to say that.
Was that Royal Rumble match against Daniel Bryan 2 years ago?
When he hit that fucking Sister Abigail
on the guardrail.
He goes for the dive.
Yeah, that match was money. And I was like, if they let Wyatt go over John Cena at WrestleMania, it'd be great. And they didn't. And then they had him lose to Jericho. Then he lost. He somehow stole Undertaker and Kane's powers. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's got a chance to like be in the main event again. No, they had him lose to both of them as well. I'm like, you know what? You don't take him seriously. I don't take him seriously. They're like, oh, he beat Dean Ambrose. I'm like, everybody's beating Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, everybody's beat Dean Ambrose. He's like, he took Kane and Undertaker's powers, and he left that sumbitch in El Segundo.
Yeah. But everything before the Hell in a Cell had a good time. The women's match was fun. The tag team match was fun, even though you saw the finish coming a mile away. Mm-hmm. When they said it wasn't for the tag titles, I'm like, New Day is taking that L. And it's okay, because they're super over. Everybody loves them. Yeah. But it's fun.
But then out comes Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels.
I enjoyed that moment. It was fun.
Was okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Whose cell was better of the stunner? Rusev or Xavier Wood?
I'm going to Rusev.
Rusev's cell.
I love Rusev's stunner.
Rusev's cell was probably the greatest cell I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was money. I've always appreciated Jeff Jarrett selling on the stunner. It was right up there.
I think The Rock does a great job selling that fucker.
I think The Rock puts a little too much. There's a little too much theatrics in it. He falls to his knees and there's like a handspring.
Yeah.
It's a little too much.
But Rusev took that bitch. I could just watch that over and over again. I popped so hard when he went flying like that. Anything else for WrestleMania you want to point out? You want to?
What else we missing?
Okay, we get
talked about the women's
AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, and Jericho going over.
Good match. I was surprised they didn't have AJ win, but I felt like, hey, maybe they're setting AJ up for something bigger, which they did, so it was okay.
I'm not buying that though.
He's not going to win the title. It's going to be just like when they let Daniel Bryan fight Roman a couple years ago.
Can't tell Jake that.
They're trying to get Roman over, and like, if we have Roman beat one of the internet darlings, maybe they'll be like, Roman's pretty good. No, we know what you're doing, but hopefully AJ gets to look good in the process.
No, we know what you're doing. True. Jake is like, he has a tag title shot. He has a title shot. He's no one can. I'm like, dude, they don't see money in that guy. You out of your mind? They would have already done something cool with him if that was the case.
Yep. Not. I love AJ, and I'm glad he's finally in the big time. To AJ's credit, he didn't wait forever like Sting to finally come over to WWE. But does he win the title eventually? Yes. But in a month's time, no. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. If it does, I'll eat my shoe.
I went. Did you do predictions? Did you make some predictions?
I did make predictions. I think I went 6-3.
I went 10-1.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, I got two. I was thinking,
Did you get the Battle Royale?
The Battle Royale was the only one I didn't get right.
Okay.
That's the only one. Everything else I got right.
I didn't get the Battle Royale. I didn't get the women's match. I felt
Zack Ryder winning the.
I did not call that.
I called it. Like when we did the. Thanks for listening to the podcast, by the way. As soon as I
don't listen to many podcasts.
When we did it, and he was like, "Who do you think?" I said Zack Ryder. He doesn't even get out. He goes Zack Ryder. I go Zack Ryder, and I go. He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, Zack Ryder." You look at the entire cast of people. There's one person in there that deserves it. Deserves a WrestleMania moment. He doesn't necessarily need the belt, and I don't see him holding on to the belt too long. That's what I said.
He's already lost it.
No, that's what I said. Okay. I don't see him holding the belt for too long. But if there was one person that needed a moment, it's Zack Ryder. So yeah, there you go, Zack Ryder. And then when I was like a good 45 minutes behind watching WrestleMania, I get a text from Jake. And he's like, "Dude," I said, "Don't tell me shit." And then when I finally saw that Zack Ryder won, I was like, "Oh, I see. I got it right." Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, I'm all right. I loved his moment where he was talking about being a little kid. He took a picture of Razor's belt.
Get choked up.
And he wanted Razor to take a picture of his belt. That was cool.
I got choked up, man.
That was a great moment.
Oh, God.
Did you see the picture of Razor?
Yeah. It's like him with two other kids.
Yeah. No. The picture where, like, Zack Ryder now.
Oh, yeah. They showed it at Raw. They showed it at Raw.
I watched like half Raw between the title game.
And I think he posted it on his. Someone reposted it on like the Salamasa Sound Off forum. Oh man, traffic stop. How close are we?
Probably like maybe 10 miles, if that.
10 miles? Oh shit, we gotta wrap it up. But okay, so Raw, did you get to see Monday Night Raw?
I saw a lot of it, but not enough of it. I didn't see Cruz's debut.
You didn't see Cruz's debut. No. He went up against Tyler Breeze.
Oh, Jesus.
You love Tyler Breeze.
They did, and they jobbed out Tyler, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they totally jobbed him out.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a moment where he stood, he was just like, it's all about me! and the fucking crowd loses it. Oh. And speaking of the crowd, they actually tried their best to hijack the show several times, which kind of took away from a lot of the fanfare. Yeah, Jericho kind of bitched at him at one point because we are idiots. And he was like, you're going to try to hijack this show? I'll shut the hell up. And y'all going to like it.
I feel like I don't like that post-WrestleMania Raw anymore. Because the crowd goes in the business a little too much for themselves. And they're expecting so many things. If it's not a cash-in, they're expecting 18 people from NXT to debut. And I'm like,
well, they were waiting for certain people to debut. They weren't waiting for NXT debut because everyone's pretty mad that the Bullet Club wasn't formed.
Yeah.
But you did get Big Enzo and Kaz, and you don't like them.
I don't like it. So here's my thing with Enzo and Kaz. They're entertaining, but they're entertaining in front of Full Sail. They're entertaining in front of this crowd full of marks the night of WrestleMania. When you send them to Des Moines for a random ass SmackDown and nobody cares, people are gonna be like, oh, maybe they're not that great.
No, I think they're gonna get over, man.
Because they're gonna do that stick, and it's
gonna be awesome.
They'll talk, and it'll be awesome now. But 6 months from now, you're gonna be like, this is not fun anymore.
No, it's gonna be. It's gonna get more and more fun because more people are gonna catch on.
And they're not that good in the ring.
They're fun. I mean, I've already mapped out Enzo's career. He's gonna be the next Santino Marella. That's all I see.
That's not a good thing.
It's not a bad thing either.
Yeah, I mean, if you're him, yeah,
it's a job.
It's a job.
He's always on TV. He's always going to be talking, and he's always going to be in the high spots, like good spots. He's going to be that guy that's in there that's going to have a fighting chance. Kaz, though?
Kaz is green as shit. He's got some work to do.
Yeah.
And he can't talk. And so my comparison...
He's not going to have to.
Because Enzo does it for him. I always look at them as a poor man's New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, of course.
And New Age Outlaws, to Road Dogg's credit, he kept them over on the mic, which is what Enzo's going to do. But I think Road Dogg is better on the stick than Enzo is.
They're fun as hell.
And when it comes to being in the ring, Billy Gunn outworks everybody else.
Man.
And Cass is just there.
No, he comes in, he gets the big boos.
He gets the hot tag and the big boot, and he throws Enzo on
They got plans for him, man. And I go like, this guy, but here's the thing.
Cass is going to be Test 2.0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He looks too much like Test. He looks too much like Test. I would be surprised they do an angle with Stephanie with his ass.
Oh, man, that would be awkward.
That would be awesome.
Awkward.
Awesome.
Oh, goodness. Those guys. Yeah, I'm not... And my issue right now...
West on I-85 South.
Yeah, she's going to talk
Continue on I-85 South for 1.5 miles.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost done. So we get Apollo Crews debut.
Fastest route despite usual traffic. Arrive at 6:32.
we got Apollo Crews. We got Kaz and Enzo. We also had the debut of
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin. Yeah, his first match, which I think him with Dolph Ziggler is dead in the water.
Yes, they can't keep sending Ziggler in to fight these kids because Ziggler doesn't have any heat to give him.
No, not anymore.
No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I like the fact that like Baron's gonna probably go over, but nobody's gonna care because it's Dolph. Find somebody else. Let him fight the Miz for all I care. I hate the Miz.
I love the Miz. And speaking of the Miz,
Maurice's return.
Maurice return. Title change.
Mm-hmm.
You get the big spot where Zach's dad pushes the Miz, and then we get Maurice return. Again, we all saw it before it even happened that Zach was going to drop that strap.
I feel like they at least let him get through the week though. But no.
Does Maurice? They brought Maurice back because she didn't want to wrestle no more. I mean, she didn't want. She left, and they brought her back to do Total Divas. They dropped the brown ones. I would like to say.
Naomi and
no, Naomi already been gone, but they dropped.
Taz
Rosa Mendez, and they dropped Alicia Fox.
Okay.
And they brought in, Maurice.
I question who watches Total Divas.
A lot of people,
But
man.
does that audience overlap with the Raw SmackDown audience?
Doesn't matter.
Or is this a whole new set of people?
It's a whole new set of eyes. It's like it's e-television and reality television fans, and once you think about it, outside the fact that it's all zany and kind of silly, it's still like a fascinating thing to me.
Take exit 58 for US 601, US 29 toward Canada.
Sorry about that, guys, but we got to get there.
We try to get there.
We try to get there, guys.
Nothing like Charlotte rush hour traffic.
But yeah, I think it's just a whole new set of eyes that's coming over just to see what these women are up to.
I feel like those eyes don't stay. They pop in and they're like, oh, I see her from Total Divas, and then they go back to whatever they were doing.
I don't think Vince cares.
Not really.
I don't think he cares. I think if he could just he put the fucking title on The Miz. He thought The Miz was going to be like an amazing champion because of his fucking Real World or Road Rules fame.
So I gave that a little bit of a pass because he's marketable. He's a decently attractive guy.
No, he's not though.
For what Hollywood wants, I can see that.
What, like a guy you want to punch in the face?
That's his gimmick. But
he doesn't play that gimmick in Hollywood.
No. But he's somebody you can send to like the Today Show, and it's fine. It's not like you're sending Baron Corbin out. I understood the Miz deal, but I didn't like it.
But yeah, he's the new Intercontinental Champ. This is like his 7th one. Return of Maurice. We also have and I guess. Oh yeah, Shane McMahon after everything. He just gets the damn show.
More reasons that Hell in a Cell match was pointless.
More reason that almost the entire WrestleMania card was pointless.
Yeah. They needed some reason to have these storylines, but they weren't very good reasons. Because we saw everything coming a mile away, and the things you didn't see didn't matter. When I heard about Shane McMahon getting a chance to run Raw, I was like, why did we go through this for the last 2 months? What was the point of that story?
But you know what it did remind me of?
Turn
like
right onto Cloverleaf
actual
Plaza, then turn right onto Cloverleaf Parkway.
Actual like family. Like how family works.
Turn right onto
Right?
Cloverleaf Parkway.
What do you mean?
Like we could be so angry at each other and we could be feuding and shit like that, but then we just let things go.
Yeah, that's true.
And because we love you, like it's
Continue on Cloverleaf
That's
Parkway.
true.
for him to sit there and he's in there all beat up and bruised, barely walking. Thanks Undertaker. Thanks selling for Undertaker, by the way. And he's out there like basically licking his wounds and leg between his tail, and he's about to walk off. His dad's like, "You're not gonna upstage me. All right, you want to run Raw? All right, you can run it now."
There you go.
But he brought up the lockbox though, which was even funny too. But I think that was the most amazing thing. During the match at WrestleMania, he goes over for that fucking toolbox, and the first thing that comes about, I was like, "Is that the lockbox?"
Like, why do you just open it?
Hey, I think that's the lockbox because they bring it up at the beginning, and then they never talk about it ever again. Yeah. Oh God! And then like they brought it. Oh, I took care of that lockbox situation. And then I guess to close it off,
Quarter mile, turn right onto Concord Lake Road.
what's as Shane is the running there,
GM or whatever.
yeah, what changes do you see? And the fact that this was a big change, that show. But I think that was already prepared by Vince, just sort of giving in and like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to see, this is sinking ship. You fans think you know what works for this business. We'll show you what works for this business. And then he's going to put it in the fucking, what's the word? Put it in the blame Shane.
As far as what I see happening next, I think they probably get away from the authority versus the title holder storyline for a while. And that's good because that story from Austin to McMahon to Daniel Bryan versus Triple H to Bischoff versus whoever. Was it Cena during that time? I don't know. It's tired. It needs a break. And I would very much appreciate if the coming feud was just AJ Styles and Roman Reigns talking and having the occasional tag match and other stuff you do to build a feud. And I think that would be a nice, fresh change of pace for that brand.
So are you back?
Full time? We'll see. We'll see.
You 9 to 5 or 6 to 4?
Probably like 10 to 2.
10 to 2? PM or AM?
Definitely PM to AM. That's when I'm up anyways.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, is anything else you wanted to like cover? I mean, something we overlooked?
No, I think we did a nice little bit. I do want to touch a little bit on the Hall of Fame. I thought it was a very nice event as always.
I never watched it.
You should watch it. The stories are good. And it's one of the things where I always tell myself I'm not going to watch it. Then I get sucked into it, and then 4 hours later, I'm like, I watched all of that. It was good. You know, I enjoyed seeing Sting have his moment, and Jacqueline had a nice little mini speech. It was cool. I enjoyed the Hall of Fame. I would never go again, because I went once the weekend of 30. But
who main evented that one?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Damn near fucked up our party in time. He kept talking. I'm like, Flair, shut up. But it was fun. It was nice. It was nice to see those guys again. I didn't like the Freebird induction. Well, no, I liked the induction by New Day. I didn't care for the Freebird speech. It was just, it was just a lot of rambling. Oh, the show was fun. It was a nice little palate cleanser between NXT and Wrestlemania. It was solid.
You think you're going to Orlando?
I'm saying I'm going to Orlando. We will see what happens come October, November when tickets go on sale.
Yeah. Because I thought I'd probably have enough income to go to Dallas, but I didn't. But I have to go to Orlando next year.
Well, so the first WrestleMania I went to was in Orlando.
Yeah.
And had a good time, so I know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just a matter of how much I'm actually into the product, whether or not me and my wife have a kid by then, who knows?
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it's one of those ideas that I haven't written off yet.
Okay. Are y'all even talking about y'all talking about babies?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And that's when, yep, that's where this podcast ends. Oh, man. So thank you so much for listening to Peter Talks Wrestling with the homie Terrence.
It was fun.
How do they find you online, man?
You can find me at T.O. Polk everywhere.
Everywhere. That's T-O-P-O-L-K.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Blogger even.
Pornhub?
No. I got a different name there.
Oh!
No, I'm just kidding.
Backside Alabama Clips and Black Snake. But anyway, man, you can find me PJTW Central, Ellen Japanese, and the same thing, that and the other. You will get a SmackDown this Saturday. The debut of the Vaudevillains.
Hey, I'm excited for that. I don't think it's gonna last very long, but.
Oh, by the way, Primo and Epico are back as the colognes, as the actual colognes now.
They are ambassadors for Puerto Rico, the beautiful flower of the Atlantic. I'm in. I'm down with that gimmick. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see. And you not only you see me then, but then also you'll catch Peter's Raw recap. So on behalf of Terrence and this road trip and Miss Siri, watch out for those motherfucking foreign objects. Peace. All right, for those. All right, this is the YouTube special right here. For those who just checked out the podcast, we sitting here watching Shinsuke's intro again.
It was hot.
It was dope, man. Fucking NXT Concord, they delivered like you wouldn't believe, man. Front to back. Even the boring matches was actually pretty cool.
Manny!
Until you know what I'm saying, we first sat behind like this one dude who was like
whack.
He was like the ultimate like
buzzkill.
Buzzkill, man. He was fucking killing us.
Ruining my show.
So we moved over, man, and fucking and we gotta it wasn't even like we didn't even sit down. We just wanted to stand and like watch everything go. We had this fucking great shit. I got my Ava Mania, motherfuckers. Ava Marie. I popped. She came out twice tonight. Got to see Asuka. Man, we got to see fucking Shinsuke Nakamura. We got to see
Finn Balor.
We got to see like
my man Manny.
Manny, what was his?
I don't remember his last name.
Whatever.
He's a rising star.
This motherfucker named Manny. Yo, look out for this guy. And then what else we got? We had
American Alpha and
Revival. Elias Sampson.
The damn drifter.
Oh man, I marked out so hard. Man, it was a good show, man. It was a good show.
Worth the trip. Worth the money.
Man. If you ever
out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
BFE.
If you ever get the opportunity to go to a NXT show, man, make sure you go. It'd have been nice to see Bayley. I mean, I ain't gonna front, but she ain't the champion, so she's not gonna be
required to be there.
Yeah, she's not gonna be like showcased as if she was champion. But nevertheless, man, that was really fun. My piece of shit. I'm on my pad right now. And I should have brought that fucker in, honestly, to get more stuff. But it's right here, man. It's all in my memory, man. It's all in my heart.
I got some videos for you.
You got some videos for me? Wrestling videos?
Wrestling videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the other account.
Hey, I was talking about M's. I thought you were trying to share some M's videos.
This is PG. PG.
There's always Pornhub. All right, guys. So yeah, if you stuck around and to catch this final part, then that's what's up. Until then, watch out for those foreign objects.